play a few shows with, but similar thing might happen. They might not want to, gig once a week or whatever. So you go out and you do, one with them, one acoustic one with a synth, one with something else, and do it like that. It would actually work, really well, because you've got such a mix of styles in there, which I guess comes from experience. It lends itself to be able to play with different people really well, I think. So I know you've kind of talked about that a little bit, kind of offline, between us, but I really like that. I think that's really interesting, that kind of being able to be in that position to do that. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would hope. I'm willing to try anything. I mean, if you look on my SoundCloud, the JUXTA Music SoundCloud account, I've literally got 100 tracks on there because I've done so many collaborations, and I've done everything from EDM to pure metal and everything in between, because I just like to experiment and try different things. So I would like to think that I could go out and surprise people each time. So if they came to one of my shows, they wouldn't get what they got last time.
Right on. Well,
that'd be cool, I think.
Well, it's nice to switch it up, and actually that's one thing from what I know the Nails have always done. They've never had the same set list twice. And
yeah, I think that's good.
Oh, for sure, because you never know what you're going to get, so it's always a surprise. I mean, because I've seen them quite a few times, so each time I wasn't sure what to expect, and it's nice when you hear the songs that you think you don't think you'd ever hear live or hear, period, just because they're either like a B-side or they're off like a soundtrack. Because I remember when they played Burn live from Natural Born Killers. And that was such a cool song live. It's one of my favorites, but that was cool to see it live. It's like I was not expecting it, and kind of just like made the rest of the show for me.
Yeah, well, it'd be cool if people say, "Oh, we're gonna go and see that JUXTA. It's like a box of chocolates."
Yeah. if they were comparing you to Forrest Gump, I think that'd be a whole other set of problems.
That's true. Yeah, okay. Scrub that.
Right. I know exactly what you mean, though. I'm just playing with you. So, the other thing I was kind of curious about is how has like just some of the social media worked for you? I mean, has it really been beneficial since it's your first time around, sort of thing, and now there's all this stuff at your fingertips?
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason that I've kind of done what I've done in terms of getting out there and getting people to actually hear my music is because I have a bit of a background in internet marketing because of my own company.
Right.
So that allows me to kind of utilize the technology a bit to use that as my marketing platform rather than having to throw a lot of money at getting somebody else to do it. I mean, Mike's doing an amazing job for me launching this album, and I'm extremely grateful for what he's doing for very little money. And that's one area that I have no experience in, is kind of, just the contacts and what you should do. But in terms of getting messages out there online and social media, that's where I put my energies in, because it's where I can kind of get my most bang for my time, if you like. Nice.
Well, it's another kind of curiosity here, because it can work differently for each person, just because you never know what the end result's going to be. But you're right to the point where you have to kind of know how to market yourself, because if you don't, that could be your sole downfall right there. You may have good music, but you can't market yourself with that music properly. You might not get as many listens or people wanting to hear more or go see the show because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the thing that I found very early on. So, I discovered SoundCloud at the beginning of last year. Once I started recording, I thought, well, where am I going to put my music? And I came across this thing called SoundCloud. And I was looking on there, and there was some absolutely amazing music. I mean, better than anything I'd heard in like a decade on the radio. And these songs have got like 20 plays in a year. I thought, well, this isn't a very good place to put your music, is it? But then I came across some like electronic music, which I thought was pretty average, with like 20,000 plays. And hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I took it upon myself to understand the technology and how people were using it, and literally I found out that a lot of people, a lot of musicians, they will record music and upload it, and they won't do anything else. They won't listen to anybody else's or comment or repost anybody else's songs, and that's really where the problem was. So what I did is I set up my own kind of almost music marketing account on SoundCloud called Atom Collector Records, and I've used that as a platform to help other unsigned musicians. And by doing that, I learn about what's required, and I can promote my own stuff as well. So it's been a win-win, really.
Really cool. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, just adding to, I mean, I do a lot of work in 1 in 5 and over sort of 10, 15 odd years with loads of different people kind of, you know, supporting musicians. And it's all about getting your music out there. Ultimately, you can write the best song in the world ever, but if no one ever hears it, it's not, that's the end of that song, right? You're sitting on your computer at home and you listen to it, you know, on your birthday every year with a glass of wine, having a cry, most people don't want to do that. Most people want to do something, and you know, so where I'm helping out JJ, I didn't really explain the context. I might have explained it on the show a couple of weeks ago, but so I run a thing called Headlights and White Lines, where we basically it's designed to support unsigned bands and also independent projects. So I did something for a film zine, and a guy writes. I'm doing something with a writer soon, and possibly an artist as well. So there's a few different things, but basically it's just about, you know, using the kind of knowledge I have through my day job and through being in the music world, and also I used to do a lot of video editing and stuff like that, and media. It's kind of using that knowledge and applying it then to unsigned artists. And it's just like, you know, we're not trying to get people to get played, you know, to be playing Wembley Stadium by the end of the, or, you know, making
I'm out then.
No, I mean, it's like, well, I think you've got to have realistic expectations, but, you know, if you look at 1 in 5, like, just through connecting and talking to people and just generally kind of, you know, being involved in the scene and going to gigs and, like you say, JJ, like posting things and supporting other bands and everything else, you learn a lot, and you start to build a platform for yourself as well. I mean, that's how I came across you, Bones. I found someone mentioned that I was following on Twitter that, you know, they are on your show, and then I listened to your show a few times, and then I sent you a track when we released our first EP. And
I remember that.
Here we are today, you know, rich and famous podcast, globally recognised superstars. So yeah, I mean that's not really a question, but just building on what you're saying, I think is really, really important. The whole kind of marketing part of it, and sharing and being involved with other people as well. And one of the best things about being in a band, you know, from my point of view, is that we get to see loads of other cool bands when we get off the stage. And it's kind of the same online. It's like, you know, just putting your thing out there and hoping everyone listens to it doesn't work. But the minute you start listening to other people and connecting with them, you know, they're going to start listening to you and then sharing your stuff and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just it's a marvellous thing. I think, you know, JJ in particular, I've seen you kind of do some cool stuff with it and with Atom Collector and everything else. So yeah, big part of it now, I think we'd all agree.
Right on. Well, we have time for one more song and a few more questions, so we're going to go with The Beautiful Ones. This is JUXTA. Dig this. Right on. That was Juxta with The Beautiful Ones, and that to me sounded like a mix, literally, of old Nine Inch Nails with the Killers, and it was a great beat, and I really liked it. And vocally, well, you gotta tell us what happened when you know when you did the vocals for this song.
What do you mean by in terms of what happened?
Well, what you were telling us off air about singing through the entire song.
Oh yeah, yeah. So so when I recorded this, I did it in stages. So I started trying to sing it all the way through, and there were a few bits I wasn't that happy with, so I was stopping and starting and overdubbing certain bits until I got it all correct and I liked it. And then we went to rehearsals to get ready for the live gigs, and I tried to sing it all the way through and realised that there's not a lot of room in there for breathing. And I got really lightheaded and nearly passed out. So if I do that one live, which I hope to at some point, I'm going to have to change the arrangement or learn how to breathe.
Well, yeah, when you're telling this all off air, it's like, wow, that's impressive, but it had to be a little difficult at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just those long sustained notes at the end where I'm sorry about my dog. Hang on a second. Yeah, it's the long sustained notes at the towards the end of the vocal piece that when I try and sustain them for the same amount of time as the recorded song, if I don't get the breathing in time exactly right, then it literally I literally get very lightheaded. But if I slightly shorten those sustained notes, then I can do it. So I was getting there with an arrangement that I would be happy with.